Joining us now from Dallas, Pennsylvania, presidential historian Dr. Larry Cook. He wrote a book called Symbols of Patriotism, First Ladies and Daughters of the American Revolution. Very interesting book. All right, so when you heard this yesterday, Doctor, did you have the same feeling I did? Going, how could this possibly happen?
Yeah, I had the same feelings that you did. First of all, as you mentioned early on, you were sad to hear that, and I certainly was as well, and certainly wish President Biden the best. But yeah, that was the first thing that I thought of is, how could this just be coming out now with him being a president of the United States and having yearly physicals and even on your average person, I think we all know as men that a PSA test is pretty routine for all of us. So
everybody gets them.
Would have assumed that. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody gets them. So that being as a known fact that the cancer doesn't just go in the prostate, it whips into the bone. It takes a while. They had to miss the prostate cancer in February of 24, right? There's no other explanation, correct? They missed it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, either.
Well, wait.
Wasn't put out there, but
you're a man. You're a historian. You're a doctor, not a doctor of medicine. But what other explanation could there possibly be?
Well, I'm saying, either I don't disagree that they missed it. I don't know that they did, or they just didn't. They didn't announce it. They didn't let it out. Or
you wouldn't announce that a sitting president has cancer?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
That's impossible. You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes here. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
There's something wrong.
Something happened.
Right. All right. Now, this is not unique. So I wrote a message of the day, and the message was we had Woodro Wilson for a year and a half, end of his second term, out of it. Wife ran the country because he had a stroke. Nobody knew it, right?
Right. Nobody knew the severity of it. Nobody knew it at first at all. And then as it started to get out in little bits and pieces, no one ever knew the severity of his stroke and the role that Edith took on, during that time and how isolated, he was. And it certainly came out that, yes, she probably did make policy decisions and influence things, on his behalf, because
now, the reason
just her and the doctor, that was it.
The reason that nobody knew it was World War I had just ended, and Wilson was very involved with that, obviously League of Nations, all of that kind of stuff. He went abroad, and then he disappears, but the press didn't have the access to the White House that it has now, correct?
Right, that's true, and so it was easy to keep those things quiet, or a lot easier than it is now. And believe it or not, he even wanted to go for a third term. He had contemplated that.
Well, Edith wanted
his own help.
Edith wanted to go. Edith wanted it, like Jill Biden.
Yeah,
Edith and Jill are the same. Jill ran a White House for the last year, my opinion, and she and Edith are kindred spirits. Woodrow's out of it, totally out of it. All right, and then we had Grover Cleveland, the only other non-consecutive president beside Trump. And Cleveland gets a vicious mouth cancer diagnosis, and they whisk him away to Cape Cod, where he just disappears, right?
Well, yeah, and the big part of that story is that the treatment part, where he was, a very close-knit 4 doctors, I believe it was, take him out on a boat, and they go out and they strap a chair to the post in the lower level of the boat and strap big old Grover to that and give him ether. And they didn't have the benefit of MRIs or CAT scans or X-rays back then. So when they got in there, it was one of those, this is more extensive than we thought. And, that it was a major surgical procedure that they did, taking out hard palate, soft palate, several teeth to extract that tumor. I mean, it's just amazing. If you've got any medical knowledge at all, it's amazing that he didn't die either from the ether or from bleeding to death in that surgery. And that was kept that was kept a secret.
Nobody knew it.
Nobody knew it.
And then they whisk them up to New England, Buzzards Bay, if anybody knows the area in Cape Cod. But back then, that was like the hinterlands, and everybody's going, where's Grover? But again, it was a press. This is the late 19th century, where there wasn't any television or radio. There wasn't any access except for in the newspapers. And the newspaper guys didn't even know where he was, and nobody could see. I don't know why Congress didn't step in both the Wilson and the Cleveland cases. Do you know?
I don't know, other than the fact that, throughout history, we've had several of these things, where presidents have had illnesses in office, whether it be an acute or a chronic. I mean, in a presentation that I do, I talk about 20 different presidents that had some significant medical issue, either acute or chronic, while they were in the White House. And, there was never really any constitutional means to do that until 1967, when the 25th Amendment, came into effect. Before then, there was really no clear way to do it. So,
but Congress could have made a big thing out of it, and then the people would have known, but they didn't. And I guess it was protectionism on one party, the Democratic Party for Wilson, and the Democratic Party for Cleveland. All right, Doctor, we really appreciate it. Thanks very much. Once again, I will tell the audience here, there has to be an investigation into this doctor, into this White House doctor. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on X. Look for @Bill O'Reilly.